Live. We are live. We are live.
Jeez.
Welcome
Well,
to the home
You
theater
forget how to
hub.
count.
man.
Usually, welcome to the X number because I don't.
Welcome
remember.
to the home theater hub, episode number 78. Thank you guys for joining us this lovely evening. Paul is not straddled over his computer, and we have a special guest. We're doing pretty good.
Hey, usually I reserve that for the OnlyFans, but hey, every now and then you got to give them a little taste. So
Yeah.
there
You
you
got a
go.
little too close last week. A little too
Closing
last
out
week.
May, I'm gonna
Oh,
drink.
there we go.
Hit the margarita. All right.
Margarita hard cider. Hard. Is that what it
Yeah, and
says?
it's
It's hard
actually-
seltzer.
Yeah.
Prickly pear. Okay.
I was just about to say finally something that sounds like a beer, and then now it has prickly pear.
Prickly.
Just when I felt better.
Cheers.
Prickly. Prickly pear.
Why do you want your pears prickly, man?
Hey, it's got to have something exotic in it,
Specially made for you.
Yes. So
Yep.
fun times. So
Absolutely.
who's our guest? I haven't been formally introduced.
Go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
I'm James, and known as the Crow. Everybody.
Where are you known as the Crow from?
My on my YouTubes, some of my social medias, and pretty much everyone. My last name is Crow, so everyone calls me more by my last name than they do my first name.
Very good. Very good. So you want us to call you Crow, or you want us to call you James?
Whichever you feel comfortable with, I'll answer both. There's just a lot of James out there, so I figured my last name's easier.
Well, and since it's on the banner there, I'll have an easier time remembering.
There you go.
Crow it is.
Yep.
Crow it is. So what's going on, Ike? How was your week this week, sir?
Busy, but looking forward to a long weekend. So we have all of tomorrow off and Monday. So
yeah, I was supposed to have off today, but that didn't work out too well. So I was at a big department store knocking down a bunch of cobwebs. I'm not getting paid to advertise them, so I'm not going to. But
the department store or the cob or the spiders that made the cobwebs.
Either one. So we had a group of like 10 people in the store de-webbing the whole entire store at 2 a.m. So if I seem a little off, that's why. I apologize. But yeah, so I had little to no sleep. But anyway. So this week's been just a blur for me. How about you, Paul? How was your week? Paul?
Sorry, I was pulling out the chat windows because you got to do that. It was quick, actually accomplished, some stuff at work. So that's good. And cut a bunch of tree limbs up because there was a storm that hit. It missed my little area. Well, not totally, but I didn't have any damage or anything. But over at Jessica's place, that actually the neighbor had like a 50-foot tree fall on their house.
Oh wow.
So yeah, and luckily nothing happened to her house, but a bunch of not huge, but 2 and 3 and 4 inch limbs were all in the driveway and kind of in the yard. So I had to cut those up, and we piled them up, and we're going to let them dry and then do something with them, get a chipper or something and get rid of that. But
turn them to some mulch.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So some ants.
What's the weather like in Kansas City?
Rainy right now.
Rain all
muggy.
day.
75 with like 85% humidity.
I feel like you guys just have one single season and it's rain and then maybe a little bit of tornado and storm.
I can tell you what, in South Florida it's not even summertime and it's already unbearable. I mean, we went straight from winter to summer
Wow.
It was 97 degrees, felt like 103 here yesterday.
Jesus.
So I was out 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 and about with my job drilling out a 500 linear foot building for termites, and then just about passed out. It was that hot. That's how hot it was. And I think I've drank like 4 or 5 Gatorades and like 4 waters and still didn't hydrate enough. So but yeah, so it's getting brutal down here already.
Wow.
So
Yeah, I was thinking about running some speaker wires. And man, I looked at that attic. I was like, man, I better hurry up and get that stuff done because once Texas just decides to go wild with that heat,
yeah, I
nobody's
told
going
the
in
wife
attic.
we walked into the theater room. It was super hot, and I was like, "Yep, I'm gonna have to do the mini split." That gave me my answer. I didn't have to wait
Yeah,
until.
I am really thinking about doing it in mine too.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
because I want to make use of it all year round. You know what I mean? I don't want to be worrying about if it's cool in there or if it's not.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we'll get to talk about James's theater here and how he's got his cooled in a second. But how was your week, James?
It's pretty good. Busy. Hasn't slowed down at work.
Very good. Yeah, yeah. It sounds like us.
Yep,
What do
we're
you
just
What do you
as hot
do?
as you
What
are.
industry are you in?
I'm in the automotive industry, so I'm the second hated most person in the industry.
Oh, okay.
First one being lawyers.
I see. So, are you sales or mechanic?
I'm in service.
Service. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Very good. So, Ike, were you able to partake? I did see that you had a on if those of you that aren't in our home theater hub group, I did see you posted a little picture there that you got some presents.
I would consider it present. At least I've not been told otherwise. But yes, I did get the new Titans, the SUS Evolution Titans, in for review. So they're sitting in the theater, man. Those things, um, both of them weighed close to 170 pounds or 160 pounds.
Wow.
Just moving it upstairs was not fun, man.
So
I got my workout for the weekend.
Yeah, I'm sure you had to slide them on the side up the stairs, you know.
I'm not even going to say that loud because they review units, but
yeah,
it was a miracle getting them upstairs. And they're kind of designed well in the sense that they have these handles that are built into the sides that allow you to grip without like ripping the box or anything. So it makes it easy to pick up. You know, but yeah, I've been spending most of the time though with the Lumigen, man. That stuff is amazing, man.
Yeah.
You know,
so
I can't
result?
imagine how better it would look if I can get it dialed in properly. You know, but it's an amazing piece of gear.
Very good.
Piece of gear. Yep.
Yeah. So you have that interview. You now have the what size are the Titans? Are they? They're the second ones down,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. The second one's a little lower than the Pinnacles.
Okay.
Yeah, I can pull it up and just share real quick.
And what color did you get?
The whites.
Ooh,
Nice.
yeah, I love white speakers.
I got the whites, and yeah, I wish they had sent me the center channel, man. So I might just end up getting the center channel myself, man. But yeah, I'm looking forward to unboxing them. Hopefully, it doesn't take me a day and forever to get to them like I always do. But
Click on the white finish.
yep, there.
Yeah,
Oh,
Sweet.
Yeah, those look amazing.
Those are sweet. So I'm just gonna go. The center channel is actually not as expensive as I thought they would be because the Evolution centers. So I'll probably get this just so that I can make it my front stage in the theater while I'm doing the review in the room. And then that's why I was thinking about running new speaker wires to the front stage in the attic because my current setup is in walls, right? So there's no way for me to get those speaker wires out from the in walls. I'm not about to do all that. So I might just get long enough wires and either route it through the attic, or that sucker is gonna run by the baseboard, man.
Yeah, have to need. Yeah, you're gonna have to have some kind of switch too, because once you can't have both of them hooked up at the same time, right? The end walls plus those.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to be doing some type of comparison test between them, right?
Right.
So, while I have them, if I have the center, then I can just disconnect the in walls and just use
Right. That's what
them
I'm
for the
saying. Just
period of review.
yeah,
Yeah.
either disconnect them on the amplifier, or just set up some kind of AB switch.
Yeah.
So that once you run, if you're going to go through the efforts of running them through the attic and dropping them down the wall and then have an area come out, then maybe you just put some kind of switch in there to where you can turn the in walls off versus the and then just have the review units that you're going to do there, so
I
that
have
you
no
don't have
doubt.
to.
I have no doubt this will be better than the in walls, though.
Yeah, no, they
I think, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't have any second guess about disconnecting the in walls.
right. Yeah, no, I'm not saying for comparison. I'm just saying for ease of
Yeah.
review. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? And that way you don't have to take them on and off every time. But yeah, no, these speakers are gorgeous. I mean, when they first came, I've heard them a couple times now. So they're just they do sound really nice. So
Yeah. So
that's
those
awesome.
things have kept me busy, and then I am getting to play around with the stack dual 15s too. The setup, stacking them or whatever the proper term is, just to test them out too in the theater. So
were you able
I'm
to
staying.
get them? Were you, because I know you and I spoke. You asked me, just for the listeners. Ike asked me to send him a picture of how I got my rails stacked and how I'm hooking them up. So
Yeah.
with my rails, I'm using an RCA in, and then there's an RCA out on the back of the rails, and then it goes into the in of the other. So were you able to get that to work using the coaxial, or?
So I think I have a solution, because Jordan Haterade had actually reviewed them
Mhm.
in that same stack configuration. So I reached out to him, and he recommended, rather than doing the RCAs, to get one of these RCA to XLR
Mhm.
connectors. So I actually got it. I actually got two. I plugged in one, but I haven't turned on
I see.
the theater this evening. So yeah, but I'm hoping that is the solution that I need for that, and I'll probably test it tonight after the show or tomorrow. I got all day tomorrow to try it. And
Yeah,
see.
I think once you do that, I don't think you'll have an issue with it, because
Yeah, because like you suggested, it's probably that the XLR and the RCA ports are not somehow connected
correct.
inside the
Yeah,
subwoofer, so it's not. But yeah, so hopefully this one works.
very good, very good. Were you able to take in any movies this week?
No, just testing out. No full new movies, but just testing out different
Okay.
things, because I'm reviewing the Lumigen.
Lumigen.
It's on a short loan, right? So I don't have 3 months to review it. So I'm trying to capture as much until I decide. My wife is probably watching, but until I decide what to do with it.
Very good, very good. How about you, Paul? What's going on in your theater you got anything new going on?
Nothing. So I am going to, after the Kansas City theater tour this week, and then I also did a fundraiser motorcycle, distinguished gentleman's motorcycle ride fundraiser on Sunday. After experiencing all the theaters and hearing and seeing everything, I'm just gonna break down, and I'm gonna mount my speakers like at the perfect right angle, because some of those, I mean, I get Atmos and stuff like that, but I know my speakers are more than capable, but just just those slight different placements of getting those angles right and stuff
Mhm.
like that. I mean, some of them, you know, sounded, you know, relative to mine, right, which sounded great. But there was a couple of them that I was just like, man. And I'm looking, I'm like, yep, that's the placement, man. I'm gonna have to break down and put some holes in my ceiling.
So you're not going to be doing the bouncy house no more.
Well, I've never done the bouncy house. I've just done the front height, and that with my ceiling and the way it is.
That's what you're doing, yeah.
Like the backs are really close together comparatively to the fronts, and they're
Right.
much further back. I'm gonna put them right at the, you know, equidistance angled wise, just so, you know, just so I can get that finesse of the Atmos. You know, it's not like you don't notice it now, but I want it to just be like more noticeable when it does happen, because we all know it happens so little relative. So it's like, man, you really want it to be like, oh, awesome. I did experience what I thought was wides, and I did validate. I had to look the movie up and make sure that it was using the wides instead of an up mixer. But yeah, I mean, there was one scene there was a bunch of demos. The tour was amazing. I don't know if they got together. Like, we literally had like no repeat demos, like, except for like the fifth theater overlapped. Like, I think two. There was, I think, maybe 3 movies, but out of those 3, I think only 2 of them maybe overlapped over the other 4. And that's just pure dumb coincidence, right? And one other one was the same movie, but it was a different scene. So even that didn't count. So it was like, out of, you know, an hour and a half demos, it's like hardly anything overlapped at all. It was pretty cool. Like, I'm like, man, did they get together and say, hey, I'm going to do this, this,
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
You're not allowed
I'm sure
to
they
do
did.
that.
They don't do anything by chance over there.
Yeah. But yeah, that was pretty amazing. I mean, I got to experience the Christie and all its, you know, precision to glory.
That was at Ryan's place.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that I appreciated, and you know, it's, some people may be like, oh no, that's sacrilegious, but everyone had their system tuned to the way they like it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you could tell, and it was good. It was good, you know, because everyone had its own little flavor. You know, there wasn't like, oh, everybody go to perfectly referenced, perfectly, you know, flat color or whatever. You know, some people had it a little more vivid. Some people had it a little less sharp, like on purpose. You know, like, you know, maybe not like less sharp. I guess that's a bad example, but, you know, like, just different everything, the sound, you know, the everything had its own character, you know, even though they were all really good, you know, demos in theaters. I do like more Dead Room, you know, because Grant had a really well acoustically treated room, and I like that. I like that, you know, kind of.
So what are you shooting for? Like a negative decay time?
Yeah, it was really good. I did. I love Chirpy's, you know, hands down, he has like the best, like, just appeal, right? Like, you walk in, it's like, hey, this is amazing, man. Friggin',
yeah, that thing.
I mean, I know it's not, but if you didn't know it, you'd think that was $1 million theater.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just like, yeah.
I still can't believe whatever. I don't know whatever he did with that. He still has the LS 12,000, right? Or what project? He still has the.
I think currently he has the JVC, the one that everybody's talking about.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that might be.
It's probably even going to be more impressive then.
The other the projector that impressed me the most, Jonathan had the new Epson, the one that you had to buy the lens.
Oh, okay.
That thing was amazing.
Was it the 10,000 lumen?
The higher range one, or
the 10,000 lumen one.
Yeah, I think they were doing a they they recently did a comparison between the Bravia, that one, and the JVC.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So they recently had that.
It's like a
they,
pick your poison. Do you
Mhm.
want, better brightness, better contrast, less
Right.
brightness? Do you, it's like, and I just love the brightness of that. I mean, it looked great.
Yeah. No, I mean, it depends on what you're shooting for, right? If you want 300 nits on the screen, or if you want, contrast, right? So,
Yeah.
depending on, but I know that they're getting better and better at introducing more contrast in those brighter projectors too now. So,
Yeah.
it's getting better and better with every generation of projector that comes out.
Yeah,
So,
at some point, JVC will have to give us something outside of
I
contrast.
wholeheartedly expect that they're going to their next iteration is probably going to be
Yeah,
in the 5,000
it has
lumen
to be
range.
something better than contrast ratio.
Yeah,
for
and that's
JVC.
why I'm kind of thinking, do I really want to upgrade right now? I think I'm going to skip a generation, because
Mhm.
honestly, I don't see any need to upgrade right now.
No, you
honestly.
I
don't.
mean, as much as I don't believe you,
I'm
I
glad
agree
you're
with
coming to
you.
your senses, man. It
No,
only took
as
like
much as
4 years.
I don't believe he will not. I agree with you, but
Yeah,
we'll see.
yeah.
We'll find
If
out.
if a deal comes across his lap, he's going to upgrade.
So for me, I was supposed to, like I was saying, I was supposed to have off today, and I was supposed to be starting to block out the room for fabric and everything else like that. Think finally narrowed down a design. Abe has been helping me with this from 3D Sound. So Abe's been helping me. He put together some maybe if we got time, I can maybe share a picture or so of what he kind of just threw together for me. Um, but he's starting to lay out. I think we've shown plans for my room already that he put in 3D CAD plenty. But he's going to put all that stuff into CAD to where I put the blocking up with the fabric walls and everything else like that. So it takes a little bit of time to get all that together. But I didn't have any of the material, but I'm thinking I'm going to start on the blocking for the basically to raise the fabric track off enough, right? So I'm probably going to go with like a 1x4 or a 1x2, something like that, and then the fabric meat will be 2 inches also, so that'll come off. So it'll be maybe about 3.25 inches off the wall. So I'll be able to stuff, the acoustic treatment behind the fabric, and then also LED and stuff like that. So I'm thinking I'm going to be starting on that tomorrow. I'm going to go to Home Depot and start picking up some of the. I'm probably going to try to use like an engineered wood. So I may even go composite just because Florida is full of termites. That's the business that I'm in. So, and the last thing you want to do is add more wood to your house, to give them something else to eat in this area. So, so you were mentioning that you were at the M Wave show also last year backstage, James. You were saying that you were there. So were you able to partake into some of the theaters that we were speaking of, that Paul was just speaking of?
Yes, I actually went to all the theaters that they had there.
Oh, okay, very good. So did you go to the tour this year?
No,
No,
I
so you
didn't. I don't
didn't.
think
Okay.
they had anything this year.
Well, Paul, they had some kind, not with M Wave, but they
Okay.
just had like a Kansas City crawl.
Gotcha.
So they opened up several theaters uh, to the public. Basically, I think they took I think it was like 60 people total that they allowed to go through different theaters. And so what you did all the theater? Did you did all the theater tours last year, James?
I didn't do the theater tours. I just did the home theater rooms that they had set up at M Wave,
Okay.
and then stayed for the 150 dB test in the JTR room at the end.
Very good. So, Paul, whose room did you go to? All the rooms that were available.
I was at. Well, hold on. Let me see if I can pull this up. Oh man, I don't know how to pull this up on my thing because I never use
While
it.
you're pulling that up, we'll just give a quick shout out to the chat. Thanks, Rich and Van Gaal in the chat. We got Derek, we got Fred, Jeff,
What's
and who
going
else
on,
we
Jeff?
got? Skylake Pro. Thanks to everyone for joining us tonight. Karen's also in the chat.
Yep. Hello, everyone. Good to hang out as always. So I went to Chirpy's. I went to Moltar. Hey, Ryan. You know, and then Archaea, Jonathan, and then Carps or Sheldon's, and then Jedi Master Grant. I went to all those, and we had the other ones Sunday, and I was going to be on that, but I had the motorcycle thing, so I was riding. I didn't know how that was going to work out, but yeah, it was right during the event, or whenever I would have been showing, I guess, at that time. So, but of course, compared to some of these guys, I have peanuts,
Right.
Not that mine sounds bad. It's just, I haven't done the same thing that I've done to my barcade. I actually put my signature on the barcade that I have, and I'm like, hey, I know there's more impressive barcades, but it's done with my design. Where my main room is that, dude. That's how I moved in. I haven't painted it. I haven't done anything.
Right.
I'm not gonna do a whole lot, but I'm gonna give it some contrast. I'm gonna try to my little diffusion panel that's got the glowing, the poster arts that I made. I'm gonna frame that out, make that look more like a showpiece, and and do that. And I'm definitely gonna put the speakers in the best location, or that gives it that better sound that you can clearly hear.
Someone is about to paint that living room, man.
Yeah. I am. We're definitely going to be painting I am definitely going to be painting it. I just haven't decided how I want to go. I don't know that at most I will paint the front wall black, but I would still leave the trim white.
I was just about to say,
But
we're gonna walk in there and it's gonna be all black, everything.
No,
Trigon.
I will
Not for a living room. Yeah.
definitely not do that.
Yeah, not for a living area. I wouldn't suggest, but like you said, maybe just the one wall. It's like an accent wall. I mean, and the majority, there are a lot of rooms that are being painted black now. A lot of people started off with just painting their doors black, right? Their entryways black, and now that has become like a interior, I guess, fashion for lately. I'm seeing more and more rooms being painted black.
I think the slat panels behind, they don't have to be the oak, right? They have different. They even have the darker shades. Those are actually much better. They look so good, like if you actually look at them in person. So rather than painting a wall even black, I think and you can do different designs with them, right? You don't have to cover the entire wall with them, but it's probably a much fanciful option. And then it has obviously some minimal acoustic properties that comes with it versus just putting a black paint on the wall.
Yeah, and I'm gonna add some more acoustic treatment. I'm gonna get it. Not like it doesn't. It's not a dedicated theater. If I had a dedicated theater, it'd be so much easier.
Well, I mean, you got room for that too.
You got room for that. You just got to put on some drywall.
You got to frame it out.
And get Jess to knock you out.
Hey, if you'd like, I can come to your house and procrastinate on your basement
Yeah,
theater,
yeah.
too.
You know what? Like,
You got to give us another joke as we go into 2026. We got to
oh
have a
man,
drywall joke.
yeah, I could do that. I could be like, hey, I hung one piece of drywall a week, and guess what? I still beat Don by 2 years.
So, Sky, like the crawl happened, I believe it was this past weekend. So they were able they had the Kansas City crawl.
Yeah,
This
this
past
wasn't
weekend.
M-Wave. This was a
Right.
locals Kansas City crawl that the community was invited to, but it was, kept, kind of like Scott Newby. You can only do so many people, right? And it was, the timing of everything was like perfect as far as getting from one to the next and stuff like that. I mean, you had time. There was one, Jonathan's a little bit further out. And I probably would add maybe another 5 minutes in between travel, maybe another 10, not because the timing wasn't perfect. It's just after everybody demos for the full time, like you get in, you set in there, and you've got, everybody kind of either goes over their system or they hand out a paper that has everything on it, and they instantly start demoing, and they want to show off and, give you the best experience they can, and use the entire time. And then it's like, okay, now you got to go to the next one, and it's not that there's not like a few minutes, but when there's 12 people or 15 people asking questions and conversating, it takes longer than 10 minutes or 5 minutes, to have that conversation. And then, like, I showed up right at the time, and they were already ready to go. Like, people were already sitting, and the last time they did it, people were the people demoing. Some of them were complaining. People showed up at like, an hour before it started, and because they were starting at like 8. It's like people were sitting in front of my, at 7 a.m. and I was like, I wasn't going to be that person.
Yeah, well, I wound up going to Sheldon's. I wound up getting there about a half hour early because I was coming from, I think I was coming right from the airport. So it was like you're not. I didn't have anywhere to go. So, but I didn't go knocking on his door early. I just kindly parked down the street a little bit and waited in the car. And once I saw other people's going up to the room, up to the place, then once he started inviting people in, that's when I decided to go in. But yeah, no, you definitely don't want to be that early person, not banging on their door. Well, let's switch gears here. Yeah, let's switch gears here a little bit. Let's get to our guest. He's got a massive amount of speakers behind him there.
That I do.
So
it looks like a few. Yeah. Big ones.
just a few there. So if you wouldn't mind, what got you into this hobby?
What got me in my hobby was probably the love of going to the movie theaters, to cinema itself is what really got me into the hobby.
I see. So you decided to say, okay, I went to the movie theaters, and then, I want to try to replicate this sound. How long have you been in the hobby?
30 years at least.
Wow.
And I started when I was, 18, 19 years old.
Okay.
And, my first system, of course, like everybody, mostly was a Sherwin-Vegas system.
Right. Yeah, we all had the Sherwin Vegas speakers for sure. And then what was the progression, to as far as like to come to this type of setup that you got behind you there?
Pretty much I was chasing the sound that I was looking for. And when I had my Sherwin Vegas, I just didn't. So I had two 12-inch towers. Well, I didn't buy two. I bought 4 and stacked them together.
Okay.
So that way, if I wanted to listen to music, I could put all 4 on, and then listen to theater, I could just listen to the 2.
Okay.
On there.
So what was the iteration of your first setup that you had? Was it like a Just adding the left and the right, and make them stereo, or what did that look like?
No, when I first started, I mean, it was a 5.1 system. I
Okay.
had their center and then 2 bookshelves and then their 15-inch subwoofer in the corner.
Oh wow, 15-inch back then.
Yeah, that was big.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. No, I think my first subwoofer was a 10 that I had. It was like a Kenwood, the Kenwood subwoofer. It's like 300 watts. I was proud of myself.
We're right. It was about the
Hey,
same
they don't
thing.
make them. They don't make them like the Kenwoods of the past, man. Those things
No.
used to slap.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
So you started off with the Sherwin Vegas, and then what took you, what was the next progression? Was it what type of display did you have? Just a, like the most of us all had the Mitsubishi. What was it, the big 60-inch or 65-inch rear projection?
Yep. I had the Mitsubishis as well. It was
Yeah.
had those. And then after that, I moved up to the Paradigm
Okay.
from there, and I did a 7.2. So it was the Paradigm 7.2 system. And then I had the JL Audio single 13, and then I had the JL Audio dual 12 in my room at that point.
Okay. What's the name of that? Is that, what's it called? The Phantom, or
The Fathom, I think.
yeah.
I had the 13, and then when they come out with the dual 12, I bought that one.
Okay. Yeah, I know Chuck had a couple of those JLs. He really enjoyed them before he went to the 18-inch JTRs. So he really enjoyed those for quite some time.
Oh yeah. And then after that, I went ahead and went with that looks pretty nice.
We're switching it up here. Going
Oh,
to
give
some
me
single
some.
malt. Paul's on vacation.
I am off tomorrow. That is absolutely true.
Only you go.
It's a
Only
school
you
night
goes
for me.
from Pierre
Pear.
single malt. Like,
No. And he's got a hell of a stomach.
yep.
So what do we so you went to the Paradigms, and then tell me again what else you had there. What was your next?
Then my last system I had was RBH, and that was before RBH became popular, like they are now. That really wasn't a known brand.
Right.
And,
What were you? Did you have like the towers, or what type
I had
of
the towers,
RV?
yes.
Yeah.
I had the towers. They had a very large center channel at the time as well. And then when I went with my RBH, then that's when I got into Dolby Atmos.
Right.
And then I sold all my JTRs, and I went with Power Sound Audio. And I probably owned a dozen of their subwoofers. Anytime that he came out with something new, I would always sell what I had and then upgrade it to his new stuff.
Right.
And then I had that for a while. Then when I bought the house I'm in now about 3 years ago, I decided to go ahead and build my in-game system.
What are we looking at back behind you?
What I have back behind me is I have a full JTR system minus the refrigerator subs in the corners over here. Those are actually Power Sound Audio subs. Those are called the S7201s. He only built those for a couple years.
Okay.
And then he quit making them, probably because of the size and the weight, and just it took 3 movers to get those up the stairs to get them into my room. I mean, they're almost like 400 pounds.
Jeez.
And they're a quad 18-inch subwoofer.
Quad
Wow.
18s.
Yeah, one thing that you don't hear people say is they got rid of their JTRs, right? So
Right.
I'm sitting here thinking, did I miss? I guess I didn't mishear that. He said he got rid of his JTRs and went with Power Sound Audio. So
No,
that's not all that you don't hear that very often. So that's saying a lot about the power sound audio. What do you like, um, or what are the differences that you find between the JTRs and the power sounds besides the fact that there's 4 18-inch drivers in them?
because I do have the JTR subs. I didn't get rid
Okay.
of those.
Okay.
Those are the new subs I have. I have two Cap 4000s and I have two 2400 ULFs behind my chairs. I can tell you that the S7201s can keep up with the Cap 4000s. They really can. But
Okay.
it takes 4 18s to keep up with 2 18s, though. So that should just
Okay.
kind of tell you the sheer massive power of the Cap 4000s are.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are the ones that I think, and that was actually a comment earlier that I think those are the ones that newbie has, right? In
Yes.
his house.
Yeah,
And
he has 20 of them now.
yeah, so yeah, I think he was advertising of ordering 20 Captivator Captivator 2s and getting rid of his, so that way he would have 40 18-inch drivers.
That's crazy.
He put a post on Facebook. I'm like, this
God,
guy, I mean, he's gonna have to strap his house down, it's like
I know.
hurt.
Yeah, I have a total of 14 18s in here.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Yes, and my house is having a difficult time with them. Um, I was running right about 8 dB hot, and now I bumped it down to 3 dB hot just because I was literally shaking the frame of the house.
Wow.
So I had to turn them down a little bit.
And so with the power sound, do they have their own plate amp, or is that an external amp that they're running off of?
No, they have their own plate amp.
Okay. Are they using the speaker power also?
Yep, speaker power as well. They're 4,000 watts each, and they
Very
play
nice.
into the single digits just like the JTRs do.
So speaking of, the subwoofers that you got, what did you do? What did you do electrical wise? Did you upgrade the electrical service coming to your room?
Yes, the front of the room I had to add 2 additional 30 amp breakers, and then the subs in the back are on its own 20 amp breaker.
Okay. So, Ike, you say that my mic's sounding a little fuzzy?
It might be my headphones. I don't know.
He
Yeah,
sounds
you guys-
fine to me.
Sounds fine
Okay.
to you?
That's fine.
Because I got it playing back. So if you got, chat, tell me if my mic sounds a little off. Could be my tiredness in my voice too.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. It's not distracting. I just noticed it.
Oh, okay. No, thank you for letting me know. Wade said the mic is fine. Cool. So so you added 230 amps. So you
Yes.
didn't even bother with the 20 amps. You just went
Nope.
straight to the 30 amps.
Straight to the 30 amps.
Very nice.
Is
And a lot of people don't have that type of room in their breaker panel. Did you have to run a separate breaker panel for those, or did you have enough in your circuitry?
I had enough, and I actually have more room to add additional circuits if I need to.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's a pretty big panel. But I have a total with all the subs and the external amps driving all the speakers. I'm at 37,000 watts. So
37,000. Oh
Yeah.
my God. You
So-
need a Mr. Fusion in the back.
Right.
A flux capacitor. Hold on.
Yeah.
So what's the dimensions of your room?
My room is 19 feet in length, 13 feet wide, with 8-foot ceilings.
Oh yeah, you're shaking the house.
Yes, and probably the neighbors,
Yeah, absolutely.
but nobody's complained yet. So
Yeah, man, that sounds awesome. I can't wait to do the full tour of the of what you got going on there. So before we do that, I just want to talk about some news that we're going to get into some controversial news.
Ooh.
Okay.
Controversial.
My favorite kind.
Yeah, what do you got?
Do I need a drink or something?
I'm not controversial at all, man.
You
'Cause I-
better get
I
your
have
drinks
water.
ready.
I have water in my cup. Do I need something stronger?
You better get your drinks ready because we're about to step it up.
Oh yeah, in familiar territory. Yeah.
So, if those of you that are living under a rock, Kaleidoscape actually introduced their new 4K player, the Strato E, after just releasing the 2K player, what, 2 months ago?
Mm-hmm.
A month ago? The Strato M. So, thoughts. Ike, what are your thoughts? He's scratching his head.
Ah, ah, I- uh, look, I think everyone asks for a 4K player, right?
Mhm.
And it's either they had it already in the pipeline or they just have the fastest manufacturer somewhere, right? So it answers the questions of why we would have a 2K player. And then I think that is mute now, right? And then, we just have to see how it goes. I think it's an interesting, decision. And they kind of dropped it on most of us for those who did not know prior to the launch. So,
Right.
but yeah, I think I might end up with this one.
Yeah. No.
I think it's a value offer, right? It's if you don't want the Stratus V, then obviously,
I wasn't going to put Jeff's news out
you
there,
finally went through it. Congratulations, Jeff.
but Jeff called me up the other day since he put it out there. Jeff called
Yeah.
me up the other day, and it's shipping. So
Oh,
he
nice.
should be getting that very, very shortly. So, look, as a dealer, I absolutely see the need for both products, right?
Yeah.
But I wish that it was done in reverse order, and the only reason that I wish that they were done in reverse order or at the same time was just because a lot of people were asking for the 4K, and there was a lot of flack that Kaleidoscape took for coming out with a 2K player versus or just 1080p, whatever you want to call it, right? So there are a lot of flack when they could have answered. I think they could have answered all the needs at one time and said, "Hey, look, here's our 4K player that introduced that first, and then said, oh, by the way, we also have a Strato M for rooms that you with a maybe a smaller size TV that you're not going to see the difference." And I think that would have given them a little bit better press, right? So, but you know how it goes. Everybody. I was reading some of the comments and stuff. Everybody wants something for nothing, right? They're like,
I mean,
"Oh, now we want $1,000 player.
maybe it
Now we
just
want."
wasn't
Yeah.
ready, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't just ready. Like,
Right.
They could have completely intentionally done that
Yeah.
because
It could also be a business
if
strategy.
it was the perfect little Strato E 4K $2,000, nobody would have talked about it. They'd be like, "Oh yeah," and everybody would be like, "Well, that's still a little bit out of my price range," or whatever people would have said, right? But the fact that they did that got everybody talking and looking, and then people that can afford it, it's like, "Oh yeah, that's cool," but nah, I would just go with the Strato M. So what's the price on this one? That's the big question.
So it's $1,000 more than the M.
Now, what about the V?
The V is $1,000 more than the E.
So you got $2,000, $3,000, and $4,000 players.
Right. So, but the thing is that all the people that jumped on the M
See,
now want to buy the Strato E, which
this is what irritates me about this. There is no way on God's green earth, manufacturing wise especially, that isn't the exact same effing box. There's no way. It would cost more to put an assembly line with different chips and different requirements in that thing. And that's what drives me nuts. I hate
So you're saying
knowing stuff
so-
that
so
it's
you're
like, no,
saying-
there's no effing way that's not
So
the
you're saying they
exact same
probably
damn
had
box.
the same, they had the capability in the 2K box and then responded to
Yeah, how else are you going to get a
feedback and then switched it out.
1080p device with HDR
True.
ability?
Yeah, the chipset.
Yeah.
True. I agree.
Yeah.
Just saying, that's the stuff that drives me nuts.
Right. No, I agree with
But
you.
that has nothing to do with, the device.
Because it's the same box, right? The specs is just about everything
That's the same
except they flip the switch
damn
for 4K
thing with some software lock that's different. That
and then paid the license to
maybe they had to do. Oh, well, we don't want to release it equivalent to the discs at this price level or whatever. And then all of a sudden, all these licensing and contracts and backhand shakes came through, and then they were like, "Oh, we'll label it E. Yeah, it's the enhanced one. Yeah, perfect." Because everybody wanted it, right?
Yeah. No, of course. Yeah.
So
No,
yeah,
I mean,
that's the version Fred is
Crazy.
going to get the 480p at 1K.
I mean, hey, this is a
That's what
nice.
Fred is waiting for, man.
This is a nice device, man. I'm telling you.
yeah. No,
I still
I
don't
think this
hate
definitely
it. It
fits
is-
fits the bill. You know, I mean,
it is this device. I mean, I know you can't do, but again, if you're buying this to get early releases of movies that you can watch, it works out.
one thing that and I shared this in the Home Theater Hub Facebook. By the way, if you guys haven't got set up into that group, join our Home Theater Hub group. I posted Mission Impossible 1 through 6. $24 for 6 movies.
That's a deal.
Yeah. So, and then I paid $14 for 7. So if you think about it, I'm what, $6 in per movie.
Yeah.
Where
pretty good.
where can you get I couldn't even rent them on Kaleidoscape for cheaper than that.
Yeah.
So they probably have over 200 titles right now that are $14.99. So, and you can't even buy them in the store or Amazon for some of the prices that they have on the movies now. I
Yeah.
know everybody's gonna say, well, I gotta buy them all over again. But hey, you've already bought them all over again. You went from VHS to DVD to Blu-ray and now 4K.
Well, the ones that you like,
Exactly.
right?
Right,
Yeah, you're
correct,
always gonna
correct.
buy if you're into theater, and yeah,
I skipped over Laserdisc too.
Yeah.
well, that was always pretty expensive.
Yeah, I think back then they were $50-$60 for a Laserdisc,
Mhm.
right?
Yep. Then what
So
about Beta?
yeah, exactly. HD DVD.
Yeah.
You bought it on Blu-ray and HD DVD.
I mean, they had like Super 8 stuff now, like a couple, movies, but it's
Yeah,
one of
but
those.
I think ultimately it's it's a good device.
This answers everybody.
It has this,
everybody's
yeah. I think
question.
but obviously you're still gonna have
It's
people
just if
who will
this
complain.
if this was the $2,000 price, it would have.
You still have people.
The
complain
haters
about it, but
would have dropped quite a bit.
they'll still complain about it.
Well, yeah.
It's I
not
think it's
haters,
more the
that's-
people complaining now that purchased the M.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That went
Yeah.
ahead and took the leap of faith and purchased the M, and now they kind of
Well,
feel
they're gonna buy this
salty,
and then
right?
realize, shit, I should have just kept the other one. I can't tell the difference. I mean, I know that's a big argument, because they're you can tell the difference. It's like, dude, science. There is scientific things that are irrefutable, and it's relative to your seating distance. And most people aren't sitting close enough. There are absolutely people that do. Now, you can always tell the difference between 4K and 1080p or Blu-ray because there's HDR.
Mm-hmm.
There's Dolby Vision on it. That's the big difference. People just refuse to admit that their eyeballs can not see microns from 20 feet away. on a 120-inch screen. They just refuse to admit that. Oh, no. I can tell the resolution. I can see the text. I can see that. No. It's dude. Real scientists, ophthalmologists, have done the studies, not home theater people selling shit.
Yeah.
There's a big difference, Who do you believe? Someone that's got something to
even though I
sell?
got my glasses, I can still see all the pixels, man. I don't know what y'all talking about, man.
I mean,
So
sure, yeah. If you get within an inch, you can see all the pixels.
Yeah.
Have a fun time, man.
Hey, if you have a perforated screen, you might lose some pixels if you're within an inch.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Well, it might be brighter because it's only hitting. You're not having 4 miss a hole or hit a hole. The one that's there is hitting the spot.
All right, so let's just go through some specs here. Lossless spatial audio. We know it's a 4K player. Reference video for every 4K, SDR, HDR, and Dolby Vision. Standalone includes 480 terabyte solid state storage, which they're saying will hold about a half dozen movies or so.
Now, does this one have the same interface as? Because see, if this one had the interface for your movies that was like the expensive Kaleidoscape,
And
it
as
would
usual, they got
be
the same.
worth the extra, money, I guess.
So I think it still has the same exact, and this is what the
M or because doesn't the M and the V have a little bit different? Like it's more of like a one poster. It doesn't have like the full wall, right?
Yeah, correct. So this is what it looks like. Instead of having the full poster wall, it has movie store new.
They took our recommendation and put the movie store on there.
Right. Yeah. So they did put the movie store in. You can go to a full movie when you click over here on My Movies. It will go to a full wall. But for the most part, there's only 2 or 3 lines of movies.
Well, that's
okay, right? Like,
that's terrible.
You get to see what you pay for.
Is that how the M is?
Yeah. So until you hook up a server to either the V, the M, or the the E, that's when you get the full picture wall and a different, a somewhat different interface or home screen. Let's call it like a home screen. You get the full picture wall. But this is how it's basically shown on the devices we just talked about, the V, the M, and the E. So and the good news is we were talking, I was talking to Jeff, it's like, if you wanted to go with a V, is $1,000 worth 5 movies that you can see on the front of your screen here, right? Because it's going to hold 6 to 10 movies. The V will hold about 10 movies. The E will hold about the M or the M or the E will hold about 5 or 6 movies. So is $1,000 worth being able to see 4 more movies on your line here, that says new, so it's doing the same exact thing. It's just not the storage isn't there, right?
Yeah.
So
and the purpose, like I said, for me, the purpose is like, early releases. I could have a movie watch party, and people would come and enjoy it, right?
Right.
I will, I'm too much of an engineer to pay anything more than retail for a hard drive. I mean, I won't even buy a Synology because they're rebranding hard drives. I'm like, no, dude, I'm not paying more for the same exact drive. Firmware, lock it to your stuff or not. You're not giving me any better performance or longevity in a drive. They're coming off the same manufacturing plant. I'm never going to be the person to buy, a 92 terabyte, Kaleidoscape.
Yeah, and Wade says the same thing. I'll never understand why having the storage is the most expensive part. So but I think you kind of hit it here, Wade. It's the storage, and I believe the storage isn't the cost, but I think they're wrapping the cost into the storage
Into the
for the
storage.
license.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's
Yeah.
happening with that.
Yeah.
So it's there might be a little bit into the player, but I think the majority is wrapped up into their Terra servers that they have for the licensing that they have to do.
Collecting is addictive, but that's why you go with a device like Kodi, Jellyfin, or Plex, and you have a 120 terabytes for $6,000 instead of $36,000. So
Yeah, like Ike says, you can use. I was trying to tell Jeff this, that he's gonna. I think he was saying he has a bunch of physical media, and he even said earlier he's a physical media guy. But to you want to buy that optical drive to be able to hook up and categorize your movies with this, so that you can take advantage of the disc to digital program. So, but yeah, so James, what are your thoughts? Do you have a Kaleidoscape? What are you using for your media player?
I don't have a Kaleidoscape yet. I'm a big physical media guy myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a Magnetar DVD player currently on there. Now, when discs finally go away, then I will jump on the Kaleidoscape bandwagon. I mean, as far as digital devices, I think Kaleidoscape's the way to go for sure. But I do have to agree with Paul. I think the hard drives are just outrageously overpriced for what you get, for sure. And I understand licensing and everything, but
Man, who brought
prices just can't cost
look
that
at
much.
this guy, man.
somebody left the front door open.
Somebody left the front door open and yelled. Somebody yelled, and there you go.
Yeah, I know. That must be his bat signal. Anything expensive.
That's everybody's bat. Everybody's bat
I
signal.
got two of those.
Yeah,
Welcome
but
to the show, Shane. Thanks for joining us.
It answers all the questions now, so
Yep.
Yeah. No, look. I mean, I think they fit the bill for.
Yeah,
I think they fit the bill for every consumer now, right? But I just wish that they would have done it in reverse order.
they'll be fine.
They'll
be fine.
Just from some of the comments, because I know personally, if I would have bought the M, and then you come out with this 2 months later,
I would have sent it back.
I would. Well, there is no sending it back, but
I'll put it up in a Facebook Marketplace.
I would have been upset. I'll be honest with you. If I had to purchase the M and then come out 2 months later with this, I would have been upset. It was like, man, So I mean, I guess it's the same for any type of technology, but if at least usually it's a year, that a new iPhone comes out,
I'd send you a 4K sticker so you can like, dude, it's 4K now, bro.
Well, on a 60-inch screen, I'd probably see the difference, right? So probably not on a 55. Well, definitely not on a 55-inch TV, but
you see this? Oh, not that one, but I'll go back to that. This almost ties into the hypothesis that it was always already on there.
Oh, see, Shane's already proven my point.
It was always there.
Look at that. Yep. I'm like, dude, there ain't no effing way that's not the same exact effing hardware. It would cost a boatload more money. Like a boatload more.
Yeah.
It was always there.
Hey, if that's it and that's how they wanted to play it, because whatever excuse, let's just be nice. Maybe they had some license agreement thing that they had to, meet or whatever the case may be. That's fine. Maybe they wanted to get people into the device at a cheaper price. And then, you can unlock it for another $1,000 to get the full experience. Hey, I'll even accept that. If that's just like, hey, we didn't want to just divulge this. But hey,
Or
okay.
maybe they were working some bugs out. You know.
Yeah,
it could be
yeah,
anything, you know,
Who knows? Who knows? Like I
but
said, it's
we're glad
yeah.
it's here. That's the most
If the
important thing.
people with the M can spend the extra $1,000 to upgrade, okay, fine. That's fine. No harm, no foul. It's like, hey, we're seeing, hey, do you really want to be in the K-Escape realm for as cheap as we think we're going to be willing to sell? Here you go. Okay, now show me the money. You know, from K-Escape. And for the people that bought it, okay, then that's good on them, you know, because they definitely reached more people with that device.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. You know, I mean, everybody, everybody that's a movie fan with a TV, you know, 98 inch or you know, even 115 inch, you know, can benefit from this box. You know, with Dolby Vision, it's going to be better than your streaming devices if that's what you're relying on. You know, as James says that he's got the Magnetar. That's not a cheap player either. That's a what 2,000 almost a $2,000 player.
Yep, that's what. Yeah, dude, like my, you know, that's $1,500. The friggin' whatever is a PDUHD
Right.
8000. So I mean, and what does that do? You know, that just play. I already have to have all the.
Right. You spent another $3,000 on your server, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so yeah, I know it's not as much as the Kaleidoscape, you know, Prime servers, but you know, and you have a lot more, but still, it's still a fee that you have to put together to accomplish.
Yeah, you're still at minimum. You're still, you know, if you're doing
Right.
an NAS or something like that. Yeah, you can go super cheap with NVIDIA Shield and the hard drive and all that stuff, but it's like, once you're spending $1,000 on a player, you're spending $1,000 on a NAS and a couple hard drives at minimum. You know.
Yeah.
So James, do you convert them? Do you can do any conversion to digital, or just everything is put into the Magnetar?
Everything's put in through the Magnetar.
Okay.
Nice.
Keeping it old school.
Exactly, for as long as I can.
Hey, it does have the least amount of issues. I can tell you that.
That it does. Before that, I had the Panasonic. Was it the UB9000?
Yeah, UB8000 or something like
UB9000.
that.
I still have one.
Which one did you like better, or what were the differences? Should I say?
The Panasonic was terrible for me. I mean, it would play 4K movies great, but anything as far as like Blu-rays, it constantly wouldn't load the disc.
Oh,
I mean, I had tons of issues with it.
oh. I
Interesting.
never had that. With
I've not had that issue either.
That's a laser. Yeah, it's a
Panasonic.
laser tuning thing because the lasers have different. You know, discs are multi-layered.
Different layers. Yeah.
And if it's not tuned to where it can read the specific layer, then it'll have problems. Did it have did anybody that's had it, because I used my LG for a while, and on a couple movies, like we're talking like an hour and 45 minutes in a 2-hour movie, it would like lock up for a second, and it would just
do that.
And yes, and I was going to get the Panasonic, but I was like, wait, it does the same effing thing? Shit, it's a memory thing on the freaking. I was like, okay, well, never mind. So that's when I went full on. I was like, okay, yeah, I'll just go digital. And you still have a problem with that too, depending on the player.
I'll tell you what, that Magnetar, when you pop the top of that thing is a beast too, man. I mean, I've seen pictures of that thing with the top off. I mean, it's fully loaded with circuitry in there too. It's there was a couple of them that were just wide open, space everywhere. You see the little drive and but yeah, no, yeah, absolutely, yeah. So
so the Panasonic versus the Magnetar with I know that it has some tone mapping or tuning that you can do. Which one did you prefer on that?
I actually don't use the tone mapping in the Magnetar because I have a Mad VR. So that
Okay.
does all my tone mapping.
Yeah, you would want to.
Spoiler alert for the tour.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah. Spoiler alert.
there you go. Hey,
But
so-
just to tell you how good the Magnetar is, I mean, I can play 20-year-old DVDs and it plays them with no problem,
Mm.
Nice.
without any issue. I mean, it's a fantastic player.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
really
I thought about getting one. I should have purchased one of those when I was a dealer for them. I didn't. I was going to put that one in and get rid of the UB9000, even though I never had a problem with the UB9000, but just the fact that it's the region, you can basically unlock all the regions on the discs with that particular. Not supposed to know that, but yeah, you can you can play pretty much all the regions with that particular player. But yeah, so but yeah, so I mean, Kaleidoscape, I look, I'm happy. I'm definitely definitely happy that they're answering the calls for the cries from everyone about trying to make it a more affordable player for everyone. And like we just discussed, Paul, with by the time you buy the server, by the time you buy all the hard drives, by the time you buy the actual player or the Zune or the Arvolution or the Dune or whatever you're going to use, to kind of make it something like the Kaleidoscape, you're there. Yes, you're going to have more storage.
Well, here's something that people may not think of, maybe not even you, right? Like, okay, I have an Apple TV, right? That's the comparison, right?
Mhm.
As far as ECUs, right? But here's the thing. With Apple TV, I can buy all my movies. They're not that, they're compressed audio wise. Arguably the video is, depending on your screen and your seating distance is, perceivably not as good also, but no one ever complains about that regardless, right? But the thing is, you're dealing with ads either on the interface homepage, the app that you open up. It's like you're constantly just bombarded with that, where the Kscape or any of these other players, like you don't, well, on discs you do sometimes,
Yeah.
but on a Kscape you don't get that, right? You're like, hey, I'm watching a movie. I'm not having to look at an ad. I'm not having to watch the Netflix or the Apple TV,
Mhm.
generate. I'm turning it on, and guess what? It's showing me movies and a play button. And hey, that right there is worth some money, right? Because I mean, we are in this world now to where it's just annoying. Everything is an ad. Everything has an ad
Yes,
to it.
absolutely.
Speaking of that, today's
Today's sponsor is
Today's show is sponsored
Oh, yeah. It's
Today's show is
it's like,
sponsored
man,
by
it's-
Shin Lee. So.
sponsored by Shane Lee. Yeah.
yeah, there you go.
Oh man, too funny, too funny. So let's get back to your home theater journey there. Since we got the controversial Strato E out of the way. So what once you moved into the new house, what's the time frame that it took you to put your theater together to, how many iterations of the theater did you have in your new house?
Just two. I brought over my RBH system that I had. And at that time, when I had my RBH system, I actually had an old 92-inch Sharp TV that was 1080 back in the day.
Okay. The Oculus?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep, so I had that. So basically, I changed when I moved into my new house. I went with the Samsung 8K Infinity screen, which was a fantastic TV, which is now in my bedroom. When I moved up to the 98-inch, but for the JTR system I have now, it took me probably about a year to get everything.
Okay. And did you do any type of was the house a custom built house, or was it something that you purchased?
No, we built from the ground up.
So did you do any soundproofing or any type of special build out for the theater when because I'm sure you had it in the plans the whole time.
They wouldn't let me do too much
Okay.
because of inspectors and codes and things like that they had to pass codes and inspection. So if I wanted to do that, that would be something that would have to be after I purchased the house.
I see.
But the only thing they let me do before was run all my speaker cabling and stuff of where I wanted my speakers at.
Oh, very good. Yeah. So did you do that personally yourself, or did you
Yep.
hire somebody out for that?
Nope. Me and my buddy came over and did it the night before they were going to do the insulation. And we ran all the wires in the room and ran all the wires to my porch speakers as well that I have out there.
Nice.
Oh, wow. And you
So we-
managed to do all that without missing any in one night?
In one night with flashlights.
Wow.
Pitch black room.
I'm sure I would have missed something.
Knowing me, I'll miss the center channel, man. I'll be like,
Right.
"Yeah, that's the center jokes."
I probably wouldn't have missed anything, but then the next day I would have been like, oh, I should have. Crap. Like, damn it.
I should have ran 2 more speakers in the ceiling just in
Yeah,
case
yeah.
we're
It's
going
like,
to
oh, I
Spitz,
should have accounted for this. It's like,
The good
that's
news is
what happens to me.
the way that this room is built, the ceiling is actually separate from the roof of the house. So if I wanted to run another 2 more height speakers, I can just go into one of the attics and go on top and run them down without actually
Very
doing
nice.
the outside. Yeah, so that makes it a benefit.
Yeah, I don't. My room, my theater's on the first floor. I have a 2-story, so it makes it difficult to run any type of speaker wire between the two
Right.
2 floors. So yeah, but in my old house, I climb up in the attic and just drop something anywhere I want it to, right? So
Exactly.
it makes it a lot easier when you do have when you have an attic to climb around in and play around in.
Definitely. And then I also have a 2-channel setup in the living room as well, but we won't go into that because those are some highly controversial speakers. So we'll leave that for some other time.
The name that shall not be named.
I almost think I know what
I don't
the
think it's the
speakers are.
speaker. I think it's the
Is the owner of the
that's
speaker.
The
controversy.
name, yes.
Let's just leave it at that. Yeah.
Yes, and I had those way before any issues. So
It's
Yeah,
crazy
yeah,
we
yeah.
could all just
Fair
guess,
enough.
right?
Fair enough.
yeah, fair enough. Yes, yeah. The
We
equipment I
can
have
still
down there
show
is
them. We just
extremely
won't
nice.
mention the name.
Right.
Very good. And what are you using for your 2-channel as far as like a processor or a DAC, or what are you using for that?
I have a Blue Node, and then I have a Nuvesta CD player that I use, which is about a 25-year-old CD player, but
Okay.
sounds
I
amazing.
don't know what that one is.
And then I have a Rotel processor, and then 2 of the big monoblock Bryson amps.
Okay.
Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to feed those JTRs, man.
Right, exactly.
That is for sure. That
Power
is for sure.
hungry, man.
So, if you wouldn't mind, can we go ahead and try to transition to the tour portion?
Yeah, definitely. Let me get that going.
Yep. So you could join on your phone and then
All right. Let
or
me just.
mute, or you can disconnect from the laptop. It doesn't matter.
I'm
Or we
just-
can
so-
just put you backstage. You just mute you.
So while
Okay, I'm
he's
just
doing that, we'll
microphone.
what are you seeing differently from the Illumigen compared to what because you have the JVC that had the 7, right? That has
Yeah, it's a 7.
it has the tone mapping in it
All right,
built
are you
in it,
guys
right?
there?
Yes. I haven't seen your phone connect yet.
Phone hadn't connected yet. You'll just use the same exact link. So what are you seeing differently, with the Illumigen that you weren't getting from the JVC?
I don't know. I think the colors are just better, you know. And then I think in SDR, it makes the SDR look much more impressive,
Okay.
right? So if you're watching SDR content, I noticed that. Just a second, let me. Okay, so I'm going to mute your main laptop. You can also mute it from there, and I'll add this to stage.
All right, there we go.
Yeah, and I'll put you full screen. Don, we can get back to it.
Yeah, we'll just go ahead. Yeah, we'll come back to that.
Okay. So I will start with the over here to the screen. So this is my equipment rack. So I have the Mad VR Envy.
Is that the
And
core or is that the
The Envy.
this is the core.
Okay, yeah.
So it's the newest.
Okay.
And then below that is one of my amplifiers. That is a D-Sonic amp. It's actually from a gentleman who builds them and designs them right here in Sugarland, Texas. And they are a phenomenal amp. Each one of my JTR speakers are at the maximum power limits that's requested. So I got the 212 HTRs. They're at 2,000 watts RMS. They have 2,000 watts going to them.
Okay.
And then below that is my Anthem, and this is the AVM 90 that I have running everything.
Very nice.
And then I have another D-Sonic amp. This one is running all the surrounds and the Dolby Atmos.
How many channels are each one of those?
The D-Sonic, one of them is a 7-channel, and then the other one is a 6-channel.
Okay.
On there. And then below that is it's a Puritan audio. That one is for my power conditioner.
Nice. Did you make the rack that you have?
No,
or
that's
something.
That's actually a salamander rack.
Oh, okay. I was
That's what
wondering.
that
I was
is.
like, I've seen people make similar, but I was like, I know you can buy some of those too. And I was like, man,
Yeah,
that looks like. I was like, man, if you did that, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, all right.
Yeah, it looks like the threaded rod racks, right?
It is. Yeah, those are the arch type, I think is what they call them.
Mm-hmm.
And then my center channel is the JTR. That is the 212 HT, I believe, R for the reference. And then moving to the other rack, that is the Magnetar, but that is the big boy Magnetar that they make.
Which model is that?
I think that one is the 900 series,
The 900
9,000 series.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then below that is my PlayStation Pro, because I do like to game when I have time. On there.
What game? What's your go-to game now?
Oh, it's always been first person shooters. So right now it's Call of Duty, and Doom's on the way. So we'll be playing some Doom shortly.
I've been watching this. I think it's called Body Cam. I've been watching people stream that. I think it's available on PlayStation 5. But the graphics on that looks phenomenal.
Yeah,
and
it looks.
It's supposed to be like the most realistic type of first-person shooter ever made. So I'm interested to try to play that.
Yeah, me too. I know it was on Steam at first. I'll have to look and see if it is on PlayStation.
Okay.
If so, I'm definitely interested for sure. And then below that is an old school Denon CD player when I do want to listen to 2-channel music up here as well.
Oh.
And that is I think a 16 AR is what that is. Or it's a 1650 AR. And again, that's probably a 18-year-old CD player, but it looks like a champ.
SACD too?
No, this one just does CDs only. This was before a Super Audio disc.
Oh, gotcha.
The Magnetar will play SACD.
Oh, will it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, then you got everything in one.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
And then below that is my Russell Sound, and that works my outdoor speakers. And then I have that connected to a Sonos player for my streaming device.
Very nice.
for the outdoor. And then moving on, then we have the we have the 212 HTRs on both sides. And then I have another.
So is one a tall and one because they're the center channel is exactly the same, right? At 212.
Correct, but it is the smaller version
Okay.
of it. So yeah. So that way it fits underneath the TV because the other ones wouldn't fit underneath my TV.
Right. Yeah, I think they make like I was mentioning a tall version and yeah. So I think those are the tall versions. I could be incorrect. Yeah.
And then this is a 98-inch LG. It's the QNED, not the OLED, but the QLED. This I bought last year, and that's when LG went with the VA panels instead of their own panels. So the contrast is just phenomenal on the TV.
Very
I've
nice.
been really happy with that. And then, of course, in each corner that I have in the room are going to be the 110 slants JTRs.
Nice.
And then
tricks, right? Those 110s are the concentric drivers.
correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then all my panels are all the GIK panels. It's the Impressional series, so they all have the scatter shields on them as well. Each of the 110 slants have 800 watts going to them, and then the front center channels are all have 2,000 watts going to them. And then moving on, I do have my wides, which are the JTR 110s.
Okay.
And then these are the new version of the JTRs that they just come out with.
So what's your ceiling height in the room?
It's 8 feet with vaulted ceilings.
That is a lot of sound.
Yes.
That it is.
On that front stage. That is a lot of sound.
I have more panels, and then moving to the back of the room, well, I guess I'll put it on the front. I have just 3 rows, and these are the Valencia Tuscanies, but these are the Ultimate Edition.
Okay.
That I have. And then again, more GIK panels on both sides of the wall and on the roof. And then on the ceiling, I do have some diffusion panels, both in the front and in the back of the room as well. And then moving back, these are the Cap 2400 ULF and then the Cap 4000s in the back.
Wow.
Good Lord.
I know. And then this cabinet here actually holds all my media.
Oh, okay. I was like, what's that there? You could put so many more subs there.
I know, man.
But this holds all my DVD media.
Nice.
I was expecting him to open it and reveal like a 20-something inch sub or something.
So are they in some kind of order or genre, or do you just willy-nilly put them in there?
No, they're in by genre or by actor or by comic book, depending on what movies you're looking at.
I can see Expandables too right there.
Yeah, got those. All the Expendables. Of course, these are the Blu-rays, and then the 4Ks I'm still working on.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And these are all on roller bearings. And then the cabinet. And then, of course, for movies, I got to have my Leonidas and my Predator figure.
Love the Predator.
Those things, they must be super glued, man, because how they not bouncing all over.
And then when we go to Mexico, I always bring back a sugar skull. So these are all the sugar skulls that we bring back when we go to Mexico.
Nice.
Yep. And then on the other end of the spectrum, of course, I got to have my John Wick.
That is cool.
Thank you. And then we have more acoustic panels. And then these are my rears on the back. And then moving around, I'll come back up to the front. And then these are my heights. Here, let me do this better. It'll probably turn the lights off so you can kind of see the heights better without that. So these are the height channels that sit just right behind the chairs.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean with that angle, with the angles, it puts it right where it needs to be, right?
Exactly. And then I have the surrounds right next to the chairs as well on
And
each
those
side.
are also the slant tens.
Yep, they're also the slant 110s. So everything is all timber matched and phase aligned.
Very nice.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's a pretty wild system, and I don't have any issues with bass. I have more bass than I could possibly want, and then of course I have to have my other John Wick poster over here just to fill up the space. I just think that's just a really cool picture.
No, it definitely is.
So as you can tell, I'm a John Wick fan.
You're looking forward to the ballerina?
Oh, definitely. Looking forward to that, and looking forward to the John Wick 5 film that's in the works.
Yeah. So, Mad VR with the television. I've not seen that combination before. Did you see a major difference when using the Mad VR with the television?
In the tone mapping, I did quite a bit. I really did. You really don't realize what you're missing when it comes to tone mapping. Basically, skin tones of people. I mean, it's just incredible. You actually see, the correct skin tones on people. Fire is not orange. It's the same color that it should be. Well, it's not a bright red. It's a nice orangish tone, the way fire is. I mean, yeah, the tone mapping is phenomenal, and especially on dark scenes, that really makes a big difference on the darker scenes as well. So, yeah, it does make a quite a big difference on it for TVs as well.
And did you have someone calibrate your Mad VR and your television?
The television I had calibrated when I bought it. The Mad VR, I bought that from AudioVice, and they calibrated it remotely.
Okay, very good.
Yep. And the biggest thing I like about it is, of course, the linear stretch. No more black bar.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah,
that was worth the money in its own.
Yeah, the black bars on the TV just drove me insane. And
exactly.
Yeah. And low to high says he uses a Mad VR with an OLED. It's definitely a difference. So yeah, so very good with that.
Yeah, then I was glad that they decided to come out with a more affordable unit for everybody. I mean,
yeah,
pretty cool.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I've got a lot of sound, and for the subs, I mean, I tuned everything, calibrated everything with Arc Genesis. I didn't have to use anything extra or added. I made some tweaks in Arc Genesis, but everything came out the way I wanted, and the sound sounds perfect.
So how loud do you listen? Do you watch movies?
So I don't know if anybody here has an Anthem.
Which one do you have? You have
he's got the 90.
Yeah, I've got the 90.
Oh, okay, I have the 70. So, yeah.
So what volume is your reference level at for you?
Jeez, I'd never actually even gone to reference, but I think it's 0. 15 is what I listen to.
Mine is at my reference volume, since I have so much headroom, is minus 35.
Whew.
and I'm pushing, 75, 78 dB. I usually listen to it minus 30, and I'm pushing the speakers in the 90s. The subs are hitting anywhere between 116 to 120.
Wow.
And I have a lot more room to go, but my house can't take it anymore.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's the I was going to ask you, so with the cuz you have 6 subs in there, correct?
I have 6 subs, yes.
So with the AVM 90, it has 4 sub outputs, right?
It has 4, yes. So the JTRs back here are slaved to one another.
Okay.
So that's one output.
All right. Yeah, I was wondering if you ran like a mini DSP or something like that. And what about a control system? Are you using like a Harmony or what type of remote system are you using for your all your stuff?
Currently, I'm in the market for a new remote. My Harmony died, and so I'm looking to see what else is out there. And there really hasn't been anything out there yet that I like. The Sofa Baton I don't really care for, and that other remote. I forgot the name of it, but it has like the glass face. I mean, that one you have to hire someone to program, and I just don't have time for that. So I'm kind of looking for something that's going to be a little more user friendly and be able to run everything. Um, and that's the biggest thing too, is finding the right codes for the Magnetar. But I heard that you can use the Oppo codes that will program into the Magnetar too on some of the remotes. So right now I'm using just the remotes it came with until I find something that I like, or that's out in the market that's going to work.
I know Shane, he uses the Roomy app. I'm not sure if you've tried that or not, but
The Apple app, right? The one on the.
yeah, it's like I think it's called the Roomy is what it's called. But yeah, it's he swears by that, so maybe you could take a look at that one.
Yeah, I definitely probably need to look into that and see what that is. Because yeah, I mean, I have heard him talk about it, and he really seems to like it a lot, and it seems like it does quite a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think Jordan is using the same one too. The
Right.
same Roomy app.
yeah.
I
And,
might need to look into it too, because
Derek says the unfolded circle. Yeah, I'm going with the Control 4.
Okay.
I know. I mean, I know you have to have an integrator program it and stuff like that, but if you're not changing a lot of stuff in and out, I don't think you're going to have an issue with it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, unfolded circles sounds and looks promising, but we've been waiting on that thing forever, man.
yeah.
So then we're not seeing any out there yet for review, at least.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of holding off until something, hits the market that everybody likes, and it'll do what I need it to do.
So, as far as your GIK panels, did you go through the whole consultation with them and for them to tell you where to put, your speakers, your excuse me, not your speakers, but your panels?
I did have a conversation with them, and I decided to do my own
Okay.
on there, which I think I did really well. The room is definitely tamed down quite a bit. There's no echo in here, but it's not over deadened either. It sounds really, really good, and I'm really, really happy with it. And I think I have just the right enough panels. And when I've watched when I've watched some of Anthony Gramani streams and things like that, and I've got to talk to him at M-Wave. He even said, about 20% of the walls is really all you need.
Right.
And I have that, and I don't think I need any more panels. GIK was trying to sell me a lot of bass traps, but I don't think bass traps are really going to help this room at all.
Yeah.
With 14, 18-inch woofers.
It's gonna be tough to stop 120 dB of bass, right? So
Exactly.
There's
But,
not enough depth in that room to control that bass.
you
Yeah.
need another room behind that room,
Yeah,
full of insulation.
Got the kick out the
Exactly.
wall. That would be your bass trap. just
More
in
like a
the
concrete
wall.
wall.
Exactly.
I have block and it doesn't work.
Really? Okay.
So yeah.
But I'm a big bass head, but
Were you in the car audio prior to your home theater?
oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's where most of us.
Seem like most of our bass heads come from car audio.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, this is a phenomenal looking room. You've done a fantastic job with this.
Thank you, man. I think I worked hard at it, and it's everything that I wanted, and it turned out to the way I wanted it, and the sound for me is perfect. I mean, there's nothing that I would change.
Skylake is asking if you plan on painting the room.
I may paint it someday. I'll probably do that maybe later on this year or maybe next year. I just wanted to get the system in calibrated, see what it sounded like, and then I'll probably eventually paint the room. Definitely need to paint the white ceiling and probably go with like a light gray and maybe do some different tones on the walls for sure.
Yeah, I my one of the guys that was on the show early when we first started, Jonathan. He had a big TV in his before he went to a projector in his theater, and when he painted his room black. I mean, not the whole room, but the front wall, and that TV looked like it was floating. I mean, it made a major difference.
Okay, I'll have to definitely look into that. And the reason why I went with a TV other than a projector is the biggest thing is these gigantic subs right here are about 4 feet, and then they're also a little bit over 3 feet deep. So that's kind of hard to kind of fit behind a screen on there. So,
what do you have a room behind that?
There's an attic behind that. So essentially, if I wanted to cut the walls open and push those back, I could, but then I would have to also re-insulate the wall and redo the wall behind there as well. So
you'd still have to separate it, or not that it's not already vibrating through the whole house, but
yes, the wife lets me know when I'm shaking everything in that house and the window.
We've all gotten that text before, right? It's like,
oh yeah, definitely. But she's pretty cool with the system, and she enjoys it too up here, so she doesn't mind.
Oh, very good.
At all, yeah, and she doesn't mind the 2-channel speakers down there too, and those are 7 feet tall.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, they're pretty big.
So, Wade says, have you considered velvet or fabric meat?
I have. Velvet is definitely an option for sure, but I think I'm going to end up doing paint.
Yeah.
Instead.
So when you switched from because what version, what year of M-Wave were you at? Were you at last year's M-Wave? I was
at last year's, yes.
So the RBH room was a couple doors down from the JTR room. What made you go from the Air Motion tweeter, to the JTRs?
Personally, I think the horns to me sounded better than the JTR than the regular tweeters on the RBH, because I have owned RBHs, so I do know what they sound like. And I think Jeff really dialed in his horns, because horns can be really, really harsh, especially on some of the other speaker brands. But man, these are just not harsh at all. I mean, they sound absolutely amazing. I mean, the crossovers he uses is just phenomenal. I mean, I've been super, super happy with the JTRs. I mean, I can't recommend them.
And when you had the RBHs, you said you started off with the RBHs in this room, correct?
Correct.
When you had them, and obviously I know the sensitivity on these are a great deal higher than the RBHs. Because these are like 101, almost 98, 90, or 101 dB sensitive for the JTRs, right? And yes. The RBHs are in the upper 80s or low 90s.
Upper 80s, yes.
Yeah. So it obviously probably took a lot more to drive the RBHs, but were you able to get full reference out of the RBHs?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it was no problem. I mean, it was the RBH, the towers were the SX 8300Rs.
Mm-hmm.
So they had, it was a 3-way speaker, and it had 3 6.5-inch woofers in them. and they sounded great.
Yeah. I really like the RBH. Not that I didn't like the JTR room. I think the JTR room is just, like when I think of JTR, I think of IMAX sound, like super loud. There's no limit to the loudness. Basically, if you got the
No,
power to push them, then that's it. Not that they're not clean, not that they don't sound fantastic, because I do like both of them. The RBH and the JTR.
yeah, I mean, I know that I, especially in the Dolby Atmos on the 110 slants, I mean, I just hear more of the movies than what I ever did on my RBH speakers. Now, granted, my RBH speakers they were bi-directional, so they weren't front directional because they were an older system.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, I mean, RBH still sounds phenomenal. I mean, they're great sounding speakers, but the JTRs, to me, they are just on a whole nother level, and especially with just small details. Because there are things now that I hear that I didn't hear previously with them. And then
Yeah.
I know at M Wave, he had everything cranked up to as loud as they go. But they have a lot of finesse to them too.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. Yeah.
you don't you don't have to listen to them as loud as you want. I mean, you can listen to them, normal volumes, and they still sound phenomenal.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think I've heard them 3 or 4 times now at different shows. The first place I've heard JTRs was back in 2000. I think in 2018 they had them set up at Expona,
Okay,
and I
gotcha.
heard them there, and then heard them at M Wave twice, and then various people's setups also, doing some of the crawls and stuff like that.
Yeah, and this was my first time hearing the JTRs was at N Wave because my speakers just came in a week before M Wave was,
Oh
so I didn't
wow.
even have time to even get them upstairs and into the room yet. So I went off of what sold me on them was when Youthman actually visited the factory,
Okay.
and when I saw how they were put together, type of drivers they were using, the crossovers he used. I mean, I already knew that those things sounded amazing.
Yeah, they definitely do produce a good deal of sound out of them, especially with being that amount of dB sensitive. It doesn't take much to power them. I mean, honestly, you can probably power them without any external amps at all if you were just wanted to use a an AVR, due to the sensitivity of them.
Exactly. And then also what makes this room different is the PowerSound audio subs. That is a sealed sub in the front, and then the JTRs are ported in the back.
Wow.
And
So
I know
so you
there's
did the no.
I did the no, but I hate to tell them, but the no sounds amazing. There is no difference. You don't hear a difference between ported and sealed. But don't get me wrong.
You're trying to get us in trouble now.
But don't get me wrong. The front subs are quite capable to keep up with the 4000. So as long as
True.
you have subwoofers that are capable within each other, you can mix sealed and subs, and they sound amazing.
Very true.
I
Yeah.
think I think that's just a myth because
So
I'm doing it.
Arc did all the tuning, or did you have to manually blend those?
No, Art did all the tuning. I just made some minor adjustments, but other than that, Art did a phenomenal job.
Very good.
Yep, I was running these about 8 dB hot, and I decided to turn them down, so now they're right at about 3 dB hot.
So you're saying that the PSAs are sealed, right? The box
Yes.
doesn't have a port, but you
No.
can see the the speaker itself, right? The driver.
Correct. I'll get a little closer view. So the driver, this is a fourth order driver. So you have the one on top, and then you have another one that's actually in the box itself,
Okay,
and it's just reversed on the other side.
I see. So it's almost like an infinite baffle there, right? With the way that
Exactly.
they're working.
Exactly. I mean, the two kind of cancel each other out in there, and these play into the single digits with no problem.
I see. Man, so what's the lowest? What's do you do tweaking and stuff like that with Rue, or do you are you a tweaker, or do you just set it and forget it?
Pretty much just I tweak it until I get the sound that I like, and then once it sounds good to me, I just leave it alone.
So have you taken any measurements in your room at all?
I've taken measurements with Arc Genesis when I go to measure things,
So
and then I've done
what
just
type of
the
frequencies are you getting in your room?
frequencies on these. I mean, they play down to 5 hertz with no problem
Wow.
easily.
Wow.
And then when Haterade Cowboy came over, of course, I had to give him the Edge of Tomorrow demo
Oh, Jesus.
at above reference, and we had sheetrock dust on my home theater chairs when we were done.
Goodness gracious.
So, you know, I try not to listen to everything as loud as it can due to that. I don't want to damage the house either,
Right.
or my ears.
Yeah. So you were playing. So you were just feeling everything at that point. You were feeling the infrasonics. Yeah. You weren't even hearing it.
No, not at all.
Man,
That's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a pretty crazy system, but it's
yeah. With those, they're almost that the way that cutout is in those PSA, they're almost acting like a horn there, right?
right.
Yeah. It's
This
definitely an interesting setup. I've never seen the setup like that before. I've seen push pull. I've seen but that's definitely an interesting setup.
it definitely is, and of course, the guy that started PSA, he worked for SVS, and he made some pretty killer designs back in the day. One design that he did back in the 90s was called the B4 Plus, where he did 410s similar in a box. That was just amazing. So this was just another iterated of his ideas when he come out with these, but he hasn't done anything crazy like this anymore, which I'm kind of disappointed in, because this is a pretty radical subwoofer.
Yeah, I've heard good things about PSA. John Anthony's been on the show a couple different times. He's got a bunch of PSA subs too. But yeah, it's but I think his are the push pull design or the dual opposed. I can't remember which ones, but they're he definitely swears by them. He says they're great subs also.
Yeah, because this is an older sub. This is probably about 10 years old. Because now I think he moved more to like PA drivers for his subs than what I have here. But I'm never getting rid of these.
It'd be hard to get them down the stairs.
Yeah,
so
you gotta get them down the stairs.
Exactly. Exactly. The movers hated me when they had to carry these up the steps.
Yeah.
Whoever's buying them is gonna need like a towing truck or something. Man.
You'd have
Right.
to get a stair climbing dolly, like moving a mini refrigerator.
And a tow
Yeah,
truck
that's-
just to get your subwoofers. Man.
That's what they are, man. They're the same size as a mini refrigerator.
Yeah.
But they're a radical design, and man, you don't have to push them very hard to get a lot of sound out of them, just like the JTRs.
Yeah.
And then in a room that I have this small, I mean, it doesn't take a lot.
No, it's definitely. I'm sure you get more than you bargain for in there for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I have so much headroom that, you know, my ears will give out before the speakers will.
Yeah.
But that was the
So-
whole part of me building the theater.
So I didn't get around to you. What's the if you want to join back on the other but think about what movies you watched while you're going to join us back recently, so that we can see what movies destroyed your house recently.
Nice, nice.
Right? Well, recently I got caught up on.
Yeah, you could just figure that out. You can join us back, or you might want to. You can stay on your phone if you want to, whichever works.
Okay, let me open up my laptop again. For some reason, it doesn't like my fingerprint.
And that's a killer setup there for sure. It's
Thank you,
definitely
thank
an end game setup there.
Yep.
Yep.
And
Everybody needs.
Everybody says that though, but until the next, I guess the next version of JTR
there's nothing like 20-inch headphones, you know.
All right.
It's like that's like, man, you are right. That's yeah, you definitely have plenty of overhead.
Wait until we start getting to all 18 Atmos speakers, man.
Yeah, I know. You got all that ceiling space with no subs on it. I just don't understand what you're doing here.
Right.
Jeff is gonna come out with dual 18 Atmos speakers for JTR. Or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. Oh man, hang at your own risk.
So Skylight points out a good thing here. A good point. You got your wides on stands to meet the seating position.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely did that. Where's that? Oh, I'll move back over here. Oh, sorry. The camera's a little different on the phone. Let's see. Yeah, so those are the wides right there on the stands, and it made a big difference because I wanted them off the ground to get more ear level when you're sitting in the chairs.
Right.
Now, believe it or not, there's not that much content out for wides. I think the only movie I have that uses wides is Godzilla versus Kong.
That's the one that was
That's
on
the one everybody talked about.
I was
But-
like, oh, I just heard wides, I think, for real.
Yeah,
for the
and I
first
mean,
time.
It
Yeah,
sounds
You can
really
always
cool.
use the up mixer.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
good thing those quadruple 18s are not forward facing, right? Because I feel sorry for those whites, man.
Yeah, exactly. Let me get logged in here, guys.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, you can.
No
Whenever
problem.
you're ready, we'll add you back on. Take your time.
What movie did you watch, Ike? Did we go
Sorry.
over all the movies?
No, we haven't talked. We were waiting for him to
Gotcha.
get properly situated, and then we'll talk about the movies.
So I watched Heretic.
Mm.
Not sure if you guys have seen that one.
I haven't seen that one. Yeah, I
It's,
watched the new Twisters finally.
Oh,
That was a
okay.
good movie.
It rinse and repeat as far as I'm
Yeah, it was rinse and repeat, but they got the audio properly fixed.
Eh,
I think I like
there
the
wasn't
audio
anything amazing with the audio to me in that movie.
compared to the old version.
Well, have you watched the European cut that's in Atmos and Oro 3D of the old version?
Yeah,
I'm
the
thinking
Oro
that's the one
3D
that I
version is
watched.
supposed to be really
Yeah.
good.
There you go. Yeah, I've got that. So it's like,
No, but it definitely was a huge upgrade from the standard. You know, not the RO version.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched Heretic. I tried to. I thought that I wasn't tired the other day, and I came downstairs to watch. Actually, E4 Superfly says Hugh Grant's best performance. He did a phenomenal job in this movie. It's a good movie. It's not a home theater movie like a reference type of movie, but it was definitely a great movie. So I would recommend it to a lot of people. It's like a thriller. Basically, I think the Jehovah's Witness girls go around and they're going to the houses, and he invites them in and goes from there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Okay. I have heard about that one. Yeah.
yeah, it was pretty good.
It's pretty
And
wild.
then, like I said,
Psychological thriller.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
You can just hang up and then reconnect on your laptop.
Okay. Yeah, let me do that.
Yeah, that's
No
probably. We're here. We got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, we did.
We're
I
officially.
thought I wasn't.
We're in the official after hours red light district show. So
No, please,
all
no.
the kids should be
No,
in bed by now.
No red light district.
No
Anything
red light
coming into
district.
that area
This is
over there.
clear lights district, right?
So, no, but I thought I wasn't sleepy, and I tried to watch Novocaine
Oh,
the other day.
that
And,
will put you.
Did you go numb?
That wouldn't put you to sleep. That will put you to sleep.
So it was. I got woken up a couple times. I heard it was a good home theater experience. But after about 10 minutes of watching it, I did fall asleep, and I got woken up by a couple scenes. So I'm gonna have to rewatch that. But it was an interesting concept. Basically, it's about a guy that can't feel pain, which is my wife.
Oh yeah. Okay.
My wife confirmed
That's
that
the whole-
it is.
Kind of like a
Quaid or
nobody.
whatever.
It's kind of like a nobody type of.
Yeah, exactly. Like a nobody, but the guy couldn't feel pain.
Yeah.
So
It was Jack Quaid or whatever his name is.
Gotcha.
yeah. So
That's-
started watching that. It was, I don't know. It wasn't, from what I saw, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. You know.
Yeah,
it's
my
just
level
sleep,
of
man.
expectations on that is
Yeah.
going to be like, this is if it's a 5 out of 10, I'm going to be happy. I'm
Right.
expecting more of a 3 because of what it is. But if it's a 6 out of 10, I'm like, yeah, it was all right. Yeah, you know, that type of deal. It was good. But I'm not expecting any more than that.
Yeah. So, but I got woken up by some gunshots and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to rewatching it just to see,
Gotcha.
just to see it. So
All right. So
That was
now-
probably just you worried about your safety and the damn movie.
Yeah.
Trust me.
So see now the crow. How about you? What have you watched, and how much
I
drywall
recently-
did you have to replace this week?
All right. I recently rewatched Mission Impossible to get ready for the new one coming out. It's already out.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I watched that much later than everyone else, so it's still somewhat fresh in the old noggin.
you
Yeah.
watched all 7 of them?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm watching the new one, this weekend.
Yeah, I just purchased, like I said, on Kaleidoscape, 6 movies for $24, and then the 7th one for
Can't beat
14.
that.
I mean,
It's like
can't beat that.
that's a no-brainer,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm gonna do. I told my wife we're gonna have a Mission Impossible marathon. So
There you go.
Yeah, you have to, man. That's what you do. That's awesome.
yeah. So Paul, what about you? Did you watch anything?
Yeah, I said the new Twisters.
Oh, the
The
new
Twisters,
Twisters. That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah, and
That's
I
a
was
good
like,
movie, too.
all right. I'm like, nah, I'm all right with the new one. I mean, it wasn't bad. It was just rinse and repeat, and it's weird because I feel like that movie may be longer, but they didn't pull you in and get you intimate with the characters as well as the old one.
So
Yeah.
here's where I think the confusion was. So he watched Twisters. So
Yeah,
he watched the
that's-
remake.
Yeah, I
Oh,
watched
Not the
Twisters.
new,
Not the new. Okay.
not the newly released. So yeah, that's what I got confused on too, Paul. That they actually, on the original Twister, they just released an updated version with Dolby Atmos.
With Dolby
Yeah,
Atmos.
yeah, I've got that one
Yeah,
too. Yeah,
yeah. So yeah, that's where I
No,
got
not
confused
that
with
one.
that.
I
So
didn't
you
watch
watched
the. No,
Twister.
this was
Okay.
the remake that they like fast forwarded, skipped a bunch of stuff, and it was kind of all over the place. Like
Okay.
it was just like, oh man, this is.
Plus,
This
I
is-
think the remake sounded better than actually the 4K version of Twister sounded better than Twisters.
Yes,
in my
Yeah.
opinion.
yes,
I
I
think-
would agree with that. Yeah, that's my point. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm talking about the latest remake with the kids in it.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Yeah.
and the and yeah, it was just I wasn't. It wasn't horrible, but I would say that was definitely on a 4 out of 10 for me as far as like, yeah, nah. It wasn't like just god awful, but it's just like, nah. I'd rather watch the original Twisters with a more intimate and more appealing and understanding storyline put together than some separated, this happened to these people and I'm traumatized. Okay, let's skip to this. Let's skip to that. Let's, you're just dropping like big nuggets of information with no backstory in it on any of that information, which kept the thing moving fairly quickly. So, it was as if you watched a movie via 30-second TikTok clips in like 5 minutes type of deal versus, I don't even know how long the old one versus the new one was. Maybe the old one was really, really longer, like the original. But the old one just had more depth. Like you got to know each and every character, like at some level, maybe not as deep on all of them, but definitely the main characters you got to know. But anyways, that's what I watched. So yeah, Skylake knew what I was talking about. Yeah, right away. He's like, no. He's talking about the new.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. He knew.
He knew right away. He's like, no. He's talking about this one. He's got to be. It's like, yes. I said the S, but it's that's just it. It's like that movie's titled the same. It's like rinse and repeat, but like, we're just gonna give you the cliff notes of this of it for the new generation.
Right. So Wade's talking about the 4K version of the Kill Bills. I've heard those are very good too.
Yes, I have those. I freaking thought about buying those. I didn't because I'm also a disc collector too. And then I was like, maybe I will. And then I went to like 3 or just happenstance, and I was looking and I was like, oh man, they were sold out at all the other locations except the first one that I went to. And I was like, oh man, I better get those. Those are apparently they're hot. And they were still at the first location I went.
Nice.
And I do want to watch those again with the Dolby Atmos. That's
Is it 1 and 2 that has the Atmos?
yeah, it's Kill Bill
Mhm.
1 Volume 1 and
2.
Kill Bill Volume 2. They re-released them with 4K and Atmos.
Yeah.
Man, that thing is $80 on Amazon. For both.
Oh wow!
Ooh,
Wow! And you got to pick them up at Walmart, man, when they're out.
I know, right?
'Cause I don't think I paid that much for them.
I had to walk around all the
I think
Walmart.
that's somebody individually selling them, not
Yeah.
like a yeah.
Yeah, that's weird. Let me check. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Amazon for just one disc is $27.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say that seems
all right. So
Let
yeah,
me see what they're priced at on Kaleidoscope.
Now I think I might have gotten the still box sets just because.
Oh,
that's
you
what
got
they
a
had.
steel box?
Yeah,
Do
man,
they
you
even
get
have
nice
a steel
ones.
box?
Yeah,
You have a steel box? Man, that's a
think
good
so.
movie, man.
I could be wrong. I
Here
don't
you
know,
go.
man. Once I get them, I open them once, I back them up, and then they go into storage.
If I see it now, I'm buying it tonight. The
Oh,
steel
dude,
book,
it's
if
yeah,
it's available.
I was like, oh
How
man,
much is it?
$19.99 on Kaleidoscope.
yeah, there you go.
You can
Nice.
choose what you want to HDR or Adobe Vision. So
And I want the version I can touch.
$3,000 and $3,020.
We want the
I want
version
it
we can
for-
touch, done.
you want the version you can touch.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
take my digital version.
Oh man,
Oh man.
a lot less STDs on that, didn't you? Oh
I don't
man.
have to wipe the disc clean.
Oh,
That's what hand sanitizer is for.
I always wipe that. You do what you do, Don.
Daryl says I'm going to leave that comment alone. I went there. Derek.
Okay. That's definitely that's why the red light warning.
That's a red light district comment.
Just when we made it to the end of the show, just when we thought we got away with it.
Yeah.
Well, look, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for the show for this week. We do have a scheduled guest for next week too, right, Ike?
Yes, we do.
We won't jinx it and tell who it is.
Oh, thank God.
No.
But we do have a scheduled guest. So definitely appreciate you joining us this lovely evening. You have a fantastic system over there. How far is he from you, Ike?
4 hours.
Oh,
He's in
man.
Houston.
Yeah,
You might-
Houston.
I'm
You
gonna
might
make
have
a
to make
drive
that.
all the way
Yeah, I
out
was
there.
gonna say you're gonna have to make a trip out there.
You need to come down to Texas, Don, so we can do a tour, man.
Right
Yeah,
there
no.
you go.
Oh, what
We
happened?
just lost your camera.
Just lost my camera. That's crazy.
Thanks again for having me out, guys. I appreciate being on the
All
stream.
right.
Thank you so
Hey,
much.
Appreciate you
You're
showing
always
us-
welcome to join us, man. So,
Yeah, your neighborhood theater, because we know the whole neighborhood.
I know, right?
It's
It's not
experiencing
your
that.
personal home theater; it's a neighborhood theater. 'Cause,
Yeah, that's the neighborhood theater right there.
hey, your neighbors just need to try to figure out what movie you're watching, turn it on
Yes.
their TV, and mute their own TV. And
There
then
you go.
join us.
Exactly.
You get the bass.
I can name that tune in 3 notes.
Yeah.
And forward whatever. Just forward the movie to the exact point, and
Right.
just mute your TV and just sit back and relax.
Exactly.
That's funny. No, we definitely appreciate everyone joining this evening. If you would like to be a guest on the show, please shoot us an email at hometheaterhublive@gmail.com. And if you would like to purchase a Kaleidoscape, send me an email to Horizon Theater at 2020 or Horizon Theater 2020 at gmail.com. Definitely can get you set up with any of the models of the Kaleidoscape that you would like.
Yep.
So we definitely appreciate everyone commenting in the comments. Thanks for joining us this week. Until next week, see you next time.
All right,
Bye.
Bye.
And you can hang on a minute.
Yeah, just hang on.